It's great to see the 13th edition of the Czech and Slovak Film Festival, referred to as CASFFA, is about to begin on the 9th of October in Melbourne and then in Adelaide and Brisbane. And it's my great pleasure to be speaking to the artistic director of CASFFA, Ali Back. Ali, welcome to Movie Metropolis, as always.
Hey Peter, it's great to be back. How are you?
Uh, good, and good to talk to you. Now, this year's program is called Echoes. Tell me about that.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, well, each year we have a theme, and this year's theme for 2025 is indeed Echoes. It's looking at sort of how the films that we typically program are both old and contemporary films, and we're interested in how they sort of speak to one another. So generally, we're looking at how stories, memories, traditions are passed from generation to generation. So we're sort of thinking about how the past continues to shape the present and what that might look like cinematically.
Okay, tell me how the Czech Republic and Slovakia are progressing in terms of their film industries.
Yeah, so look, to be honest with you, as an outsider, it seems like both Czech and Slovak cinema is in a really healthy state. You know, there are so many films being made, so many films that we're watching. And not only that, so many young new filmmakers whose films are getting made, whether it's their first or second film. And then you add that with veteran filmmakers who are getting their seventh feature made. It's great to see, and it's great to see that the festival program is supporting the movies as well and sharing it on the big screen. More recently, I mean, the success internationally has been really good. Waves, which we have in this year's program, connected remarkably well with the domestic box office, but also abroad. And then you have only a few months ago, actually, we had Caravan, which competed at Cannes, which put an end to I think it was a 31-year drought of Czech films competing in a competitive selection at Cannes. So, look, all the signs to me, like with each year, is incredibly positive.
That is great to hear, and I'm always looking forward to seeing the Czech and Slovak films. They are so intriguing and so interesting. I'm glad you mentioned Waves. It's a film I really loved, and it's such a great story.
Fantastic story. And look, we showed it earlier this year, actually, at Acme. And this is a rerun. We're bringing it back due to popular demand. A lot of people missed the chance to see it a few months ago. Others want to revisit it again. But, you know, it's set in 1968 during the Soviet invasion. It's set within the walls of the Czechoslovak radio newsroom, and it's focusing on the journalists who risk their careers there to tell the truth. But yeah, I, I would love to hear what you thought of it, but historically sweeping and yet very intimate character focused film as well. And that's made by one of the veteran filmmakers in this year's lineup. So it's fantastic. It's an assured feature and also the Czech Oscar submission of 2025.
Exactly. No, I was very impressed by the film, and it also had a personal note about a radio operator who has influence.
Sure.
No, it's an excellent film. All right, let's talk about the opening night film Caravan, which sounds like such an interesting story.
Yeah, look, I was just touching on that. So that's by Susanna Kechanova, and we're delighted to have it as our opening night film, not only as our Australian premiere, but as a film that also, as mentioned, signals the end of a 30-year plus drought of Czech films in competition at Cannes. It's actually Susanna's first feature film, and it's about a single mother played by Anna Geislerova, who cares for her young disabled son, David. As the title of the film sort of implies, it is a road movie in form. The two of them are on a trip in Italy. There's a bit of tension, and the two of them actually steal a caravan and set off on a road trip. But while it's a road movie, it's also a very sort of profoundly fragile one, which is quite unique. More than anything, it's sort of a affecting meditation on motherhood and also the bond between a mother and a young teenage son. It's going to be great.
Look forward to it. And that's the opening night film. And I see the closing night film is sounds also very interesting. How could this happen to us?
I know. Exclamation mark, question mark at the end of that. it's a nice way to close the festival. It's very lighthearted, unlike Caravan. It's a sort of escapist offering to close out our 13th year. It's an ensemble comedy, and that's kind of become our tradition with our closing night film. And it's about an aristocratic family versus a modest one who happen to hate one another, but unfortunately, their children fall in love, and they're sort of forced to unite both families at the children's wedding. It's sort of a satire on heritage and class and identity. And it's actually a lot of it is shot at Somerton Castle, so that brings a certain sort of lavishness, a cinematic quality to the visuals on screen.
Oh, excellent stuff. Now, I notice a film which has a musical background to it, a film called Duchamp.
Yeah, yeah, indeed it does. It's a musical biopic on Carol Duchamp, who was a pop idol known in the 70s and 80s and sort of referred to now as the Czechoslovak Tom Jones. Um, the film sort of captures the heights of his fame through that era and also his personal struggles. It's executed in really sort of stylized, fast, energetic fashion, almost like in the best sense, a music video. But also the lead performance by Vladislav Plevshik is remarkable. He's portraying three separate stages of Duchamp's life. And he's also re-recording a lot of the songs under the guidance of Duchamp's original vocal coach, which is fantastic. It's done staggeringly well in the domestic box office overseas. And what's so good about it is that the director, another seasoned one, bridges so well with his films mainstream entertainment with a sort of auteur sensibility. So we're fortunate to have it. And like the other contemporary lineups in the film, it's the Australian premiere as well.
Uh-huh. I'm always interested in musical biopics, so that should be very interesting indeed. Okay. Now, another film on a different note, Promise I'll Be Fine.
Yeah, so Promise I'll Be Fine is by Katerina Gramatova. I will say it's actually great. We've started a short film program, and this is only our second year. And last year, we actually featured a short film by Katerina in the inaugural program. So we're really thrilled to support her again with her powerful debut feature. Uh, it's set in Slovakia's Hungry Valleys, and it's about a 15-year-old boy who spends his summer sort of drifting between mopeds and the odd job. It's a very sort of naturalistic and poetic film about rural life in Slovakia. It's filmed on 16 millimeter, and it also blends actors and non-actors together. So there's a very sort of authentic and poetic quality to the film. What it offers is a compassionate, sort of assured portrait of adolescence and masculinity and unspoken emotions.
Okay, sounds good. As really diverse themes as always in your films that you select. And if we go now to a more historical aspect, a film called Fichtelberg.
That's right. Yeah, it's again actually a first film by a Czech director slash animator by Shimon Kodela, and it's a visually ambitious historical fantasy. It's inspired by Central European folklore, but also by the legacy of animator Karol Zeman. Um, so it's set in the 1500s, and the central character is a young knight, and the story of his is sort of told with a hybrid of live action, but also animation, digital artistry, and handcrafted sets. So, look, what you're getting served is some excellent fantasy visuals, but one that you should probably see on a full-size screen. So it's going to be great to see that blown up.
Okay, very good. And another fantasy historical film is one called Princess Goldenhair.
Yeah, correct. So a remake of the 1973 fairy tale Princess Goldilocks. It's the sort of definitive children's film in our festival, but that offers a fresh sort of retelling of the classic fairy tale, which happens to be a timeless story for so many Czechs and Slovaks.
Okay, okay, very good. It's good that you have a family film in there as well. That's always great to do that. Now, a film called Chronicle sounds like a very interesting film.
It's an intriguing one. It's made by Martin Koller again. the debut fiction by Martin, and he's actually began his career as a cinematographer before moving into directing with Chronicle. Chronicle, it was 8 years in the making, and it's sort of a hybrid of a documentary and a fiction film. It's filmed like Promise I'll Be Fine in rural Victoria, but it's shot in long, sort of static takes, and it's very strikingly framed. The film is largely a non-linguistic movie, and it sort of captures in this unique observational way the weather and the animals and the local citizens of a small town. And it walks really nicely that sort of evocative line between surrealism and the mundane. It's actually preceded by another very artful film that does the same, also no dialogue in it, titled "What If We Run Out of Stones." So together they sort of offer this very sort of one of a kind look at the strangeness of the ordinary.
Okay, very good. And I noticed a documentary called World Between Us.
Yeah, the only sort of conventional documentary in the lineup, and that actually follows a well-known photographer slash fashion photographer named Marie Tomanova across 5 years. So Marie is actually from the Czech Republic, but she's very much now living her life with her partner in New York City, and she's very involved in the art world there. So it is the only documentary in the program, but what it offers is a very engaging sort of an intimate character study of a young artist, and then through that sort of investigation, a lot of themes that start to crop up about, identity and belonging, migration, and also the purpose of success and, the drive of an artist. It's very accessible to an English speaking audience because it is actually predominantly in English, but it's a beautiful documentary and one that's sort of hard to replicate in fiction.
Okay, very good. And an intriguing film, drama, a film called Year of the Widow.
Yeah, another really impressive debut fiction. It's actually hard to believe this one is yet another debut film because it is so good. But interestingly enough, it's actually adapted from several articles that were published in magazines from 2014 to 2016. And it follows Petra, played by Pavla Baratova, uh, who's sort of experiencing the grief after the sudden death of her husband. And she decides to move to the countryside to sort of restore a crumbling house. And this is all based on a true story. Her grief is sort of captured throughout the film and it unfolds through the everyday, but it's told again with this sort of quiet, poetic realism. Above anything else, it's a really sort of affecting study of mourning and renewal.
Okay. And I always love digital restorations of films, and you've got two,
Me too.
the Czech Year and Old Czech Legends. Tell me about them.
Yeah, we've got a double up with the Trinkers, and courtesy of the Film Archive in Prague, two beautiful digital restorations from a few years ago. So we're showing the Czech Year, which is not only Trinker's first feature, but actually happens to be the first Czechoslovak animated feature-length film that was made in 1947. What you can expect from that is wooden puppets, intricate sets, folk songs sung by children's choirs, and what it offers is something very enchanting and nostalgic for both adults and children alike. And the film also just happens to be a cornerstone of Czech animation. And then we're pairing that a week later with Old Czech Legends from 1952, which is based on legends of old Bohemia, which is again, perhaps even more so, an ambitious feature-length film for Trinka. Very visionary, technically complex, and actually described by the Karlovy Film Festival as one of the most enchanting Czech films.
Excellent stuff. Really good to hear all that. And I notice you've programmed some student short films.
Yeah, as mentioned, so this is our second year. We are showcasing student shorts from three film schools in the Czech Republic and Slovakia. And I believe the films are called Mona Lisa, Hot Flush, Water Nymph, Alone Together, and Butterfly Girl. And we're really keen on continuing this tradition of sort of showcasing the emerging voices. Um, who are sort of destined for the international festival stage, whether that's through their short films or later on with their feature length movies.
Excellent stuff. So, and of course, you're partnered with the Melbourne Cinematheque for films that are currently screening by František Vlachil, I think. My pronunciation's awful. Which is good to see as well. Some really intriguing films there. So, how can people book tickets to CASFFA?
CASFFA.com.au. That's CASFFA.com.au. So general admission tickets are $27. Concession tickets are $19, and that extends from pensioners to full-time students. So no excuse there. And we also have different prices for our opening night events as well.
Uh-huh. And it's great that you're in three cities now. After Melbourne, you're in Adelaide and then in Brisbane.
Yeah, we're returning to the Sunshine State for the first time since 2017. So we're thrilled about that. And also would like to give a little shout out to the team. We're all volunteers. So we are just very passionate about showcasing Czech and Slovak cinema and showing its place on Australian screens. So you'll see some of us, most of us in Melbourne, some of us in Adelaide, and some of us in Brisbane as well.
Oh, excellent stuff. I like to see the film festivals expanding as well because I think creating new audiences and showcasing Czech and Slovak films is so important. Indeed, all European films. So well done on that. Now, yes, as you know, I always ask the question, have you seen anything of late that has impressed you?
Yes, I saw two films last week, both in the cinemas.
Yep.
One Battle After Another, which I thought was excellent, and I I saw the next day The Conjuring, the third film from the Conjuring series,
Yes.
which I thought was perhaps less good, but it was a busier session. It was far busier than One Battle After Another. So that was an interesting experience as well. I think I was maybe the oldest person there.
How interesting to hear that. Yes, it's one of those films that sort of ends the series, Last Rites, I think it's called, and it throws everything but the kitchen sink at the audience.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but one battle after another. What an intriguing film that is, in terms of its commentary on the US and immigration and all sorts of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And visually it was incredible to behold. I'd love to see it again. I didn't get the chance to see it on IMAX, but that would be definitely on the checklist.
Yes, yes. And it was also shot in VistaVision, which I found so
Of course it
interesting.
was.
Yeah, whereas in Australia, we have very few cinemas that can actually show a film in VistaVision.
Yeah, yeah, indeed, which is just insane to watch. I mean, I'm talking about a pool-sized screen for Fichtelberg, but you're getting a bloody Olympic pool for something like that. It's marvelous.
Okay. Okay, excellent. Well, we've been talking to Ali Bak, who is the artistic director of CASFFA, Czech and Slovak Film Festival of Australia, beginning in Melbourne on the 9th of October and then screening in Adelaide and Brisbane. Ali, as always, thanks so much for talking with me.
Great. Thanks, Peter. Great to chat.
Okay, all the best. Bye bye.
Bye.